Did you know that January 19th is called the Quitter's Day? It is the day when most people fail. They quit on whatever resolutions they had set. So, what is one thing you can do so that you don't quit? It is to know your why behind whatever you want to achieve. Today, our guest, Dave Sweezy, will share his journey and why. And hopefully, this will inspire and motivate you to work on knowing your why and keep it going. So today I have Dave Sweezy with me, who I've always seen as motivated, someone who runs, someone who's stays fit, and we will hear from him on what is his why behind his goals, his team of staying fit. Dave, please share with us, how do you keep it going?
Excellent. Well, Jazz, thanks so much for having me on here. I think just a two-second preview, if I can. I had there was a period of time where I had very little fitness, and my wife was coming out of having babies, and she was getting out and walking, and then she started running, and then I was still not doing any of those things, and then I found that I was walking up a flight of stairs, and I was winded, and I said, when did this happen? When did I get exhausted walking up a flight of stairs and not be able to keep up with my wife on a walk with the babies? And so, I started out with this I'm going to run. And I remember saying, I'm going to run a mile. I got to do something. And I couldn't believe how hard it was. And so early on, my why was much more about, oh my gosh, I want to have this active lifestyle. And I think about having this active lifestyle. And I like to be outside all the time. But how can I have an active lifestyle if I can't barely get a mile? And the mile turned into a mile and a half. And then the mile turned into 2 miles. And then it turned into some hills thrown in there. And there was this kind of, the why was really just at the time was, what more can I do? Where can I go? How far can this go? And it became this midlife identity that I started to find about, how much longer, how much further can I go? And what I will say on this Quitter's Day, I've quit hundreds of times over the last 15 years of doing this stuff. I found that I always needed to put something out there in front of me. And that goal could be a simple health goal. It could be, sometimes I put a race or a hiking event. It doesn't need to be something material, but I always have something just in front of me that gets me thinking about the why. And then after a short amount of time, and I mean, 3 to 6 months, that may sound like a long time, but in the hindsight, it's really a short. I started yearning for the quiet time. I started looking for the time in my brain, the I don't want to call it meditation, Jazz, because but this meditative thing that started happening when I did the longer runs and the longer bikes and the longer hikes, and it became, I'm not a particularly spiritual man, but it became kind of this spiritual journey for me, and then it became somewhat of how I identified, and those 2-mile walks turned into marathons. They turned into Ironmen. They turned into these kind of epic, can I do it? How far can I challenge myself? So, Jazz, what I would say is, if I scheduled 3-mile runs 5 times a week and that was all I had, I'd probably never do them. I think that there became this familial why. Like, I'm doing this for me, I'm doing this for my family, and I do it for my career, because gosh knows my wife says, will you please just go out and do a run? And it turned into more than running. It became yoga. It became, weight sessions in the gym. It became, all of a sudden the kind of the lifestyle around body awareness, and I don't want to say physical fitness, but just being in touch with myself mentally and physically. And it translates into lots of really wonderful life benefits in the long run. So there's probably a much longer story in there, Jazz, but my why really is just about the journey. It's about alone time in my own brain, which can be kind of scary sometimes. But I've solved a lot of problems. I've cried some tears along the way for no apparent reason. And all that mattered.
Well said. There's two quotes, proverbs that I go back to all the time. The first one is that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with step one. And then the second one is that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So whatever steps we can take, whenever we can start that journey, no matter how many times we may not have reached or quit. Um, at the end, Dave, what would you leave our viewers with on days that you don't want to get out of bed, days that you don't feel like doing, again, even though you know your why, even though you know that feeling, that wonderful meditative state of running that you'll have? What do you do then?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about willpower because I think that's not. You have to do it that first time. That first time, your warm bed and snooze button is calling you. I've never regretted after the getting up. So I get up, you do the thing. It's uncomfortable. It's cold. I never regret the fact that I didn't stay in bed, right? And I've stayed in bed, believe me. But more often than not, I've learned that when I just sit up out of bed, I leave my sneakers next to the bed and whatever quick change outfit, I put the outfit out the night before, and it makes it very easy to roll out, put on the clothes, take that step out the door. And I never regret it. And I know now that I never regret it. So in my brain, I know it's going to be worth it. So step out the door, take that action, get yourself out the door. So hopefully that helps somebody motivate and put on those shoes.
Thank you, Dave. All right, so our viewers, we'll leave you with, again, know your why. And on those days when you don't want to get out, again, connect with how you felt when you did do it. And like Dave said, likely you did not regret it, and that's what you want to go after. We'll see you in the next session. Bye-bye.